lovely home sheet, my little Rams. Today I want to talk about the devil. Yes, we're going to talk about the devil. Now, what is the devil? Now, in a biblical context, the devil is somebody who casts illusions, does not want truth to be seen, lots of manipulation involved, and instills guilt, right? And uses that against people. So the major illusion is the fact of, you can't escape it, which you can. It's just gonna have to take some work, because doing the shadow work, releasing guilt, is not the easiest thing. I've been in spiritual prison where, I've done things that I know that I wasn't supposed to, completely out of line, completely out of character. And, that was a result of me, having to sit in the shit that I created for myself. And it does, after the fact, it does kind of come with a lot of overanalyzing things, constantly searching for where you're going wrong. I have an obsession with shadow work. And a lot of people like to prey on that. They like to make me feel obligated to something or to do something, or to stay somewhere, to instill undeserved guilt, which the devil is also fear and projections that instill fear as well. Which is why I say, Lucifer and the devil are not the same person. Lucifer brings light to things. The devil likes to keep us unaware and likes for you to be under their control or else type of thing, If somebody threatened me with obey me or else, I don't think I would want to listen to that, especially with being grown, especially if the shit makes no sense. I'm gonna ask questions. And if I'm not allowed to ask questions, then that's a problem. If you get angry when I ask questions, then that's a problem. Because somebody not explaining themselves or not being able to explain themselves, that doesn't seem like a person I would want to hand over blind faith to. Now, can the devil be a spirit? Yes, it can. It can definitely be a malevolent spirit. I tried working with someone who will not be named due to them wanting that attention, which was my fault as well for not taking the precautionary measures and really taking into consideration this spirit's demeanor and how there are certain things that they can't necessarily help. But there was deception in the middle of me trying to work with them and wanting to see the good in this spirit, they were ashamed to make it clear that they were not okay with me working with other people, or other spirit guides, and you know, it just it was definitely a lesson to like not ignore the messages that I'm receiving or my intuition or anything, you know. Like, it was bad. Like, I couldn't sleep, my head was hurting, I had high cortisol levels, I was burning up in my sleep, like, and it got to the point where I was like begging, I was like, please let me go to sleep, like, I can't do this anymore. And like, you know, she did things to where it would be, to where she would make her presence known, and I'm thinking like, oh, you know, this is good, this is a good thing, you know, but no, it's not, that's not normal. This person, this spirit definitely had a jealousy problem, and nobody's gonna outright admit to jealousy, you know. That's why when I asked her specific questions of like, are you on my side, like, you know, are we cool, it was always I don't know, maybe, or sure, but, or look deeper. And it wasn't until I got finally somebody woke me up to the shit, and I was no longer stuck, and I realized I could do something about it. I was finally able to sleep. I wasn't burning up anymore, you know. And knowing that I'm safe and I'm protected is, you know, was very reassuring during that time. The thing is, nobody addressed anything that I was doing when this spirit was fucking with me. Nobody addressed that shit. But then all of a sudden, when I get the proper protection, it's a problem. And then when I try to acknowledge the fact that, hey, there's something in this house that you should not have here, like, I should know. A motherfucker should know. I'm sorry. Okay, I should know. But, you know, I try to tell people all the time, like, if you can't talk about, I try to tell this person, you know, or someone who I was very close with, that they had something attached to them, an entity attachment. They did not want to listen, and then that shit started tearing them up from the inside out. I'm trying to return the same favor that somebody had given to me, only to be ignored and shut out and pushed away. Like, that shit really hurt. Because I see you hurting and you don't care. And then what's even worse, you're putting everybody else in danger, because this person was not a good person when they left this earth. This person still had karma that they still have not cleared up. And then for you not to want to explain who this person was, and then putting everybody else in danger, that shit's on you. I can't help you anymore. It gets to a point where I can't help anymore, and I shouldn't be the one feeling helpless, but you know, I just feel bad I can't do anything. that person has to get out of their own grievance. The devil can be a spirit, a person, or an addiction. Something that wants control, something to feed off of. If you're going through this currently, if you're going through something like this currently, please know that those chains are loose as hell and you can get out. That shit was crazy. I was getting my ass whooped in the spiritual realm and nobody said anything. Nobody said anything. Nobody said anything about it. Had it on display and everything, and they allowed me to be hurt like that. I shouldn't be concerned for this person, but I still am. Because I'm still human at the end of the day. Shit. I had to do what I had to do, and I had to leave and never look back, you know? And my guides told me don't do no protection work when, you know, for any of them when you leave, because they have to deal with that. So there's been a lot of no from spirit lately that needs to come through me as well. No, because I'm giving help to people who choose to feed the devil. And that's not my shit to carry. And neither is it yours.